Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment. 32 teams, 32 days, and today we're talking about the Houston Texans, and this is sure to be a very interesting video as they get Deshaun Watson back, as they get JJ Watt back, Whitney Mercilus back, Bernard McKinney back. Texans fans believe they are primed to go back to the playoffs and maybe even be Super Bowl contenders. Do I agree? We're about to discuss. We're going to discuss this team's strengths, its weaknesses, look at my statistical projections for the Houston Texans, give you some bold predictions for this football team, and then end this video with my official win-loss prediction for the Houston Texans. So let's start by talking about their strengths, and I'm sure we can all agree with these, so we'll start off very nicely for this video. And we're gonna start with their linebackers. And assuming they are healthy, this might be one of the best, if not the best, linebacker corps in the NFL. Let's start with Jadeveon Clowney, who, yes, does play some defensive line as well, depending on whether or not JJ Watt is healthy, but when he's playing outside linebacker or defensive line, he is one of the better defenders in the NFL. You finally are starting to see his ascension to the player we all thought he was going to be when he was drafted #1 overall in that 2014 NFL draft. He's coming up now on a contract here, so hopefully he can prove that he deserves that extension and not the franchise tag, which it looks like he's probably going to get right now. Honestly, I think he deserves the extension, and hopefully he can prove it this season. Whitney Mercilus on the opposite side. This guy continues to be one of the better outside linebackers in the NFL and also continue to ascend in his own right. He is now starting to enter his prime, and I'm expecting more of the same in terms of production from Whitney Mercilus. Look at the inside linebackers. How about the duo of Zach Cunningham and Bernard McKinney? I am a huge fan of Bernard McKinney. Unfortunately, he was one of those Texans that went down last season. I thought he was primed to finally make the Pro Bowl. I think this year he will. One of the better inside linebackers in the NFL. And opposite him is Zach Cunningham, who I was not a big fan of coming out of Vanderbilt, even my own college, coming out of college in that 2017 NFL draft, but he had a decent rookie year. He was actually better against the run than I thought he would be. I thought at Vanderbilt he missed a lot of tackles, but in the NFL he showed improved technique. I think Mike Vrabel and that Texans coaching staff really helped him out in terms of that aspect of his game, so I'm very intrigued to see what he does in this upcoming season, like the linebackers in Houston. We move on to the defensive line in Houston, and we have to look at JJ Watt, who is returning. But the question is, will he be the JJ Watt of old? Now, last season in his limited play, he was, to me, for the most part, he did not have the sacks, right? He didn't register a sack last season, which was very unfortunate, but he still was a very dominant player. The Pro Football Focus grades, the analytic grades, and if you just turn on the tape as well, you will see JJ Watt was still very strong, very dominant, still held his own at the line of scrimmage. He should still be fine, but the injuries are starting to rake up. He's still quite young as well. He's not in his 30s yet, so he should still have some years left, but without a doubt, to me, his career is going to be over by the time he hits like 35 people. There are just too many injuries piling up. But for now, he is fine. He is good. And how about DJ Reader at nose tackle, who is ascending and becoming one of the better nose tackles in the NFL? The former nose tackle out of Clemson. He has come into the NFL and really ascended quickly. I'm expecting a really good year from him. Christian Covington, in limited pay last year, he actually improved. And Carlos Watkins, another former Clemson defensive lineman, he showed a lot of promise last year. I'm expecting more of the same from him. I think this defensive line, assuming JJ Watt is what he should be, is going to be the most complete defensive line they've had with JJ Watt there, because normally it's been JJ Watt on his own, doing his own thing, doing everything. But now I think he's going to have a lot of help with DJ Reader, and I think Carlos Watkins taking a step forward. I like the defensive line in Houston. We're moving on to the weaknesses, and we have to start with the offensive line to me. And this is the choice that they have made, honestly, to me, when they traded away Dwayne Brown. Now, yes, okay, his contract was going to be expensive, and it was already expensive. But I just didn't understand trading away Dwayne Brown. Yes, you needed a second-round pick or any draft pick you could get at that point because you traded everything for Deshaun Watson, trading up for him in that 2017 NFL draft. I understood that. He was your best offensive lineman. Okay, he was your best offensive lineman. He was your left tackle. He was the man that you entrusted to protect Deshaun Watson early in his career, and now he's not there anymore. Now, what do we have in his place? I don't like what we have in his place. Julian Davenport, who is scheduled to start at left tackle. In the play I've seen of him last season, when he was starting in place of Dwayne Brown, I was not impressed at all from him. You look at the other guys for this offensive line. I do like Nick Martin in at center. He hasn't played enough. He hasn't been healthy enough, but I think when healthy, he'll prove to be one of the better centers in the NFL. In time, I think that's going to prove to be the case for him. So I like Nick Martin inside. Other than that, though, we also have some other questions. Zach Fulton is at one guard position, and Senio Calamity is at another. These are two run-of-the-mill NFL guards. They're not good, they're not bad, they're just very mediocre. And then Martinez Rankin out of Mississippi State, who the Texans drafted. He's going to come in and likely play right tackle. We'll see what he can do. I actually like him, but he's a rookie, right? So this offensive line is a question right now, and Julian Davenport, that's your left tackle. That's the guy you're entrusting to protect Deshaun Watson's blind side. Look, I know he's mobile. I know he can get out of the pocket. He's going to need someone to protect that blind side. And I don't trust Julian Davenport to consistently do that for him. Huge concern for me right now is the Houston Texans offensive line. But the next weakness to me is their tight end position, and this comes off of the heels of the surprise retirement of CJ Fedorowicz, who was tired of the concussions and the injuries he was sustaining, and he's been seeing everyone else sustaining in the NFL, retiring at the very early age of 27, leaving only Ryan Griffin and Steven Anderson in his place. Now, I don't think this is a horrible tight end position right now. I think the LA Chargers, who I ranted about the other day, I think they have a worse duo here, but I'm not impressed with this duo. Ryan Griffin can be okay, but I think he's a number 2 tight end, maybe a lower tier number 1, and Steven Anderson's a number 2. You know, so I'm just not very impressed. I think they could use more here because Deshaun Watson does like to hit his tight end quite frequently. We saw that last season. And that's why Steven Anderson even had the season that he had, right? So I need to see a little more from this side of position. I wish they would have invested more here. I just don't see this duo being very dynamic, being very scary for NFL defenses. That's just something I don't see. We move on to the positions in the middle, and we're going to wait on quarterback because that's when the discussion begins. Let's wait on that. Let's discuss everything else. Let's move on to running backs, which I almost had as a weakness. The only reason I didn't is because I'm very encouraged by the rookie season of D'Onta Foreman. I liked him coming out. I didn't think he was going to be a great NFL running back, but I thought he was going to be a starting running back, and I think you're going to see him ascend to that role this season. We'll discuss that a little more later. Lamar Miller, I think you're starting to see, he's nearing done at this point. You know, his height was with Miami, and it wasn't even a very good height. He's not been very impressive and dynamic for the Texans. He's been very run-of-the-mill, very mediocre. They need someone to spark this running back position. I think it will be D'Onta Foreman. Alfred Blue, we know what we're going to get in 8 months. Tyler Ervin. Okay, now safety position. Tyrann Mathieu, he enters the fold. Will he be the Tyrann Mathieu that he was for the Arizona Cardinals? I think so. I think he's going to make an impact, and this is like the one significant signing and the one significant addition that gets you excited about this Houston Texans team this upcoming season, as well as getting all their injured guys back. So I'm liking him. Hopefully he can come back and do well for this team. And then cornerbacks, not really much to say here. Jonathan Joseph, he's been around. Will he continue to stay and play at the level he's been playing at for his entire career? I assume so, but at the same time, he is getting older, so you have to watch out for that. That's just one concern I have there. So we move on to my statistical projections. And whew, this is where things are about to get ugly. Quarterback Deshaun Watson. Okay, I'm gonna wait for the explanation. Just give me 1 minute. Let me just say the projections, then we'll get to my bold predictions because this is a bold prediction. Deshaun Watson, 3,900 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 89 pass rating. No, you are not dreaming. No, you are not misreading the screen. We'll talk more in a second. Running back Lamar Miller, 180 carries, 700 yards, 4 touchdowns. Again, I think D'Onta Foreman will challenge for the starting job. And as I will tell you in a second, I think he will win that starting job. And then wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, 105 catches, 1,450 yards, and 10 touchdowns. The average DeAndre Hopkins year. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get into my bold predictions. And bold prediction number 1, this is where I will elaborate. This is where I make my huge stance. This is going to be my big take during the 2018 NFL season, a take that will either make or break me. I mean, either way, I'm not going anywhere. But in terms of a lot of y'all's mind, a lot of y'all perception of me, I'm putting a lot on the line here. Let's discuss it. Deshaun Watson, ball prediction number 1. Deshaun Watson, takes a huge step back from his rookie season. Now, here's the thing. Everyone can believe that I have this opinion because I'm a Tennessee Titans fan. And if you believe that, then that's fine. I don't even know why you're listening to me. You should have wrote me off a long time ago. The fact of the matter is, I have a couple of reasons, a number of validated reasons as to why I believe Deshaun Watson is going to take a huge step back. And let's discuss them now. Number one, his rookie year production was simply unsustainable. It was absolutely unsustainable. First of all, it was a ridiculously small sample size. We had a sample size of 6.5 games. And people believe you can look at a sample size of 6.5 games, and this means that after this many games, this guy's gonna be a great NFL quarterback because we had 6.5 very good games, and really just 4, by the way. 3 of them, or 2.5 of them, were not very good, but really just those 4 games, he's gonna be great. 19 touchdowns, 7 interceptions within that 6.5 game span, extrapolating to about 42 touchdowns and about 20 interceptions. Now, was there any way, seriously, people, that he was gonna have that kind of stat line throughout the entire season? No. Moreover, he had a game where he had 5 touchdowns and only 16 completions. Is that something that you see? You can either believe one or two things: that he's the greatest quarterback to ever step foot on the face of planet Earth, or maybe something's not right about that. And then here I have analytics that show my huge concerns about Deshaun Watson. The reason why he had that ridiculous stat line in that small sample size, he was number 1 in big time pro percentage, okay? This means the amount of throws of which he made that were big time throws, right? Deep down the field to Will Fuller, deep down the field to DeAndre Hopkins, a corner strike to DeAndre Hopkins. Repeatedly, you would see these plays. There would be big time plays. He'd hit him when his receivers were open, and he'd do a very good job. But then where am I concerned? Okay, he's great, right? There's no problem there. Well, here are where the problems surface, and I have analytics to back this up. In terms of turnover-worthy plays, out of 41 quarterbacks, right? In terms of throws that Deshaun Watson made, that were turnover-worthy, that, are risky throws, that if you're not careful, they're gonna get picked off. You may have got lucky last year, you're not gonna get lucky in the future. This can't be sustained. He ranked 33rd out of 41 qualified NFL quarterbacks, but that's just getting started. In terms of his adjusted completion percentage, okay, we're adjusting for drops, we're adjusting for weird scenarios. 39 out of 41. And then the biggest problem, he's still an inaccurate quarterback, people. In terms of his accuracy metrics, in terms of just accuracy plus percentage provided by ProFootballFocus.com, he ranked 38 out of 41. In terms of the step accuracy percentage, he ranked 38 out of 41. In terms of tight accuracy percentage, tight throws, hard throws, 37 out of 41, meaning he didn't have to make many tight throws. And we're gonna, if you want me to, I can pull up the tape. We'll do this another day. This video is gonna be too long as this. I can pull the tape. He didn't make very many tight throws, and when he did, a lot of them were turnover worthy. You can see this can't be sustained for a long. And then I can show you this. This is the accuracy map of Deshaun Watson when targeting his wide receivers. People, where's the green? He does it accurately. He doesn't often enough hit wide receivers in the chest. He often overthrows wide receivers, often underthrows wide receivers. So what happened? It's simple. In that 6-game span, Bill O'Brien and this Houston Texans offense did a fantastic job of setting him up, right? They schemed well, they got him out running, and then when it was time to hit open throws, right, because, certain times quarterbacks are following wide receivers, and they have to turn around to look at the quarterback, he'd hit open wide receivers. A lot of teams underestimated him. They'd leave wide receivers open down the middle of the field playing single high coverage. Will Fuller would beat them. He'd throw a great touchdown. That would be great. A lot of these games he was trailing, so a lot of those defenses would play prevent defense, allowing him to throw up and down the field, to let time go down for a bit, and then he'd go down and he'd do a very good job. But again, a lot of those touchdowns, all that production came in garbage time. This is not sustainable, people. You cannot be a sustained good quarterback in the NFL with that kind of accuracy. Okay, unless your name is Cam Newton. Cam Newton's more accurate than that, number one. And number two, he runs around all the time. He can get away with that. Can Deshaun Watson? No. That's why he only lasted 7 games. Deshaun Watson is going to regress to the mean, people. if he's lucky. Right now, I'm projecting to the mean. I think he could be worse. I think he could be ready and set for Marcus Mariota type regression. And Mariota's regression was literally just because the offense, Deshaun Watson's could be just because all of a sudden he can't really produce anymore, because all of a sudden that 6-game sample size, it increases to 10 to 15 to 16. NFL teams recognize what the Houston Texans are doing, what you can do to stop Deshaun Watson, and forcing him to make these accurate throws that he literally showed in that 6-game sample size that he could not make, that he showed when we evaluated him in college that he could not make, that he could not consistently be accurate. If these defenses, and they will, figure out what the Houston Texans are doing offensively, are able to position their players to be better able to cover these Houston Texans wide receivers, to cover, and that's hard to do. DeAndre Hopkins is a great wide receiver, but he's only very good wide receiver on this roster right now. Will Fuller can't stay healthy. Braxton Miller, number 3, forget about it. If they can literally just figure out how to cover DeAndre Hopkins, they got problems in Houston. That's my huge stance, that's my bold prediction, and I spent a lot of time on that, so now let's move forward. I just had to explain that very thoroughly for people. This is the MJ take of 2018. So with that said, bold prediction number 2, Dante Foreman takes the starting running back job. I think Lamar Miller, as I aforementioned, is going downwards. I think Dante Foreman will be ready to take that mantle. And then bold prediction number 3, DJ Reader and Bernard McKinney challenge for the Pro Bowl. I'm not sure if they're both gonna make it. I think McKinney will. It just depends how the voting shakes out. You know, sometimes the Pro Bowl is messy, but at least one of them should. So with that said, quick win-loss prediction, because I spent a lot of time on the Deshaun Watson thing. So here's the thing. I think the Texans are gonna reverse back to who we thought they were. Last year, I think, was just weird. Okay, and sometimes that's the way it was. Remember when the Texans beat the Tennessee Titans 57-14? Everyone wanted to peg, and what did I say? I said, people, that was just weird. You can't buy into it. Right after that, the Texans went 4-12. The Titans went 9-7 divisional round. Some things are just weird. Some things are just anomalies, but I guarantee you a regression to the mean is coming. And it just depends how much it's going to be. They're going to be a better defensive team than they were last year, and that's going to help them out in the win column. But the quarterback production is coming back for Deshaun Watson. That is my stance, people. Best case scenario, I'm wrong. Deshaun Watson is truly the statistical anomaly in the history of the modern NFL era. Hell, the NFL era, actually. He was truly going to pass for 42 touchdowns to 20 interceptions last season, and will throw for more touchdowns, or maybe even less interceptions this season. Maybe even both, more in both categories. Maybe, who knows? This is the statistical anomaly of the generation, right? And the Houston Texans go, I'll even grant you this. I'll grant you 12-4, because there is a chance I'm wrong here. I don't think I am. But worst case scenario, not only am I right, I'm really onto something. And the Texans go 6-10, one of the widest ranges I've ever given. So what's my prediction? My prediction 7-9. I'm not buying it. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. So you guys can give me the dislikes, you can give me whatever you want. I think he's going to regress to the mean. I think we're gonna see a course correction. I think the defense will be good. I think the offense will struggle. I think the Texans will be the worst team in the AFC South. And we will see, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go. That is my official 2018 NFL season preview for the Houston Texans. You can believe it was biased, but people, I gave you analytics to back this up. I hope I got through to some of you, but ultimately the beautiful thing is it really doesn't matter. We're gonna have the answer in a little bit. We're gonna see what happens with this football team. It's gonna be very interesting indeed. Until next time, this has been NJ of Sports Fan Entertainment. I'll be back tomorrow to discuss the Indianapolis Colts. What's in store for them? We'll see. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.